Major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.
Warning, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't blame me or any other random person that gives you some money tips for any of your financial decisions. I provide information based on research that may guide you to taking a deeper look at a particular company. However, in no way am I suggesting to invest or not invest in that company. Your decisions are that of your own. I present information that is readily available on the internet, and I piece together the story to create and provide a more holistic concept to create a bigger picture. This information is for educational purposes only. Ultimately, I'm a guy in a Spider-Man mask, and you should not take financial advice or information from me.
Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm overjoyed and very enthused today to show you guys this breakdown here. Hold on, I forgot to rub my hands here. I found it's what I typically do in the entrances of my videos. Why? Couldn't tell you. I'm not editing anything out either. I just do it raw one time. That's it. One cut. That's how I do it here. But I want to go over with you guys finally how to break down properties here. How I break down my properties here. That way you guys can see it happening in real time and what I look for and what I do. Alright? One of the other types of real estate investments I forgot to mention was rent to own. Not a strategy I'm privy of, but it might be really good with the times coming ahead of us here in terms of this crash, real estate crash coming. People may not be able to afford things, so you can create strategies to help people afford properties again, as long as you can afford it. But let's go to a website here. That's not a website. Here's a website here, realtor.ca. All right, I'm going to go right back to the home page and break it down for you guys so you can see how I'm doing it in real time. This is my calculator now. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. Toronto. And what I want to do is put this on the blockchain, this calculator here. That way it can be under my name, it can be my possession, and I can give it out how I want to give it out. But I haven't decided how I'm going to do this yet. But I want to break this down for you guys still, just so you can see it and understand it and get an idea. A real well-oiled, well-lubed idea of how this actually works. And how to begin to demystify real estate. So, okay, 247,000 seems reasonable. Looks like a condo. What I would typically do is I would evaluate everything that meets my criteria in the area I like. I look for specifics, and you should too. I like a house that's amongst like riches. When I say amongst riches, I mean, it doesn't have to be rich or a wealthy area, but a house that, or houses, or multifamily home that is underappreciated. When I say underappreciated, I mean the house itself might be worth $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 less than the other houses around it. Might even only be $100,000 less than the other houses around it. You know, you might have an area where you live, I don't know, San Francisco, I can't even think right now, New York, Chicago, wherever that you live, Sweden, Toronto, Alberta, whatever the case is, wherever you live, you'll know your market. I'm not saying you have to buy in your market, but begin to learn of a market that is interesting to you, regardless of what that is. Figure out your market and market to that. So my market itself is, I like houses that are undervalued. You know, there's nothing wrong with the house per se. The structure's fine. Everything inside of it's nice, but it just needs some renovations. Whether that's a gut job or a paint job, you know, putting a lipstick on a pig type job. When I say lipstick on a pig is not a beautiful looking animal usually. Put some lipstick on, you know, and it's like, all right, good to go. It's great. You know, and for things like that, you can undervalue a property, or it's undervalued, and then even go even further and offer a lower evaluation still, as long as the seller is motivated enough to sell it to you at that evaluation. So we're just going to, let me just see this house here. 247,000, 1 bedroom condo. Wow. Annual property tax, 200. You pay property tax in I guess in a condo. Okay. So what I'm going to do is how I'm going to start this off here. I'm going to take this address here. This is the address. Bam. Did I copy that? Bam. Not there. Right there. I'm just going to put it right there. Why? Because this has a ripple effect. Get it? Okay. Has a ripple effect. When I go over to the pro forma aspect of it, there's the address right there. Right there, okay? So, as we go down, today's the 28th. If I bought this house, let's say today, and we closed on the property next month, March 26th, last payment would be here. February 26th, 2053. Shizzle. If I change that date and we close, say, let's say the 10th of March. Here we go. February 10th is when my final payment of this property would be. A deposit is very different than a down payment. A down payment is what's required for the property itself, which you would send over to the lawyer. They'd hold an escrow. From escrow, they'd send it off to the other bank or their lawyers or exchange funds, or the bank and the lawyer exchange fund, whatever it is. But the deposit is you showing your earnest and your good faith to the realtor that you're going to purchase this property. So you provide the $1,000 to the realtor, and that $1,000 goes towards your down payment, or your down payment. So the value of that property, I'm just going to copy it here also. You don't need the number sign, and just right up here, put it, same thing. Now that's the asking price. The asking price is $247,000, $111. I can't speak. $100. $111. There we go. Holy heck. And the offering price, I put exactly the same. Reason being, I want to know what this valuation is at their asking. So, as an investor, we are in Canada. We're required to put down 20% of the property for this down payment. So our down payment would be $48,000, $422. Okay, this is what our total down payment is, just for the property. Just for the property. All right, I'm specific with that. Just for the property. All right. So moving on. This is our loan amount. This is what the bank or an investor or second investor or second mortgage, whatever the case may be, this is what they are going to loan you, the amount they're loaning you for that mortgage. That's what the mortgage is the loan amount. That's the mortgage. In Canada right now, well, at least we had it for a couple of years now, they've implemented a stress test. And what a stress test is, it indicates to the bank or the lender that you can hold this property at a particular interest rate. The interest rate right now, that stress test interest rate is 5.25%. So I'm going to evaluate it at that right now because the economy value is going up, interest is going up. Well, the economy value is going down. The interest is going up. So that being said, and that's a good thing. That being said, I'm going to evaluate it exactly as it is. If you didn't want to, you could just, click no, and it would take that into account also, and the price would change accordingly. But I'm going to go 525 because we're pretty much right there right now anyways. All right. Then there's different types of loans. There's an open loan, closed loan, variable, fixed loan. It makes a difference. Typically, in a stable economy, I like variable because the interest rate moves very, very minuscule, up or to the downside. In a wildly fluctuating, fixed might be good depending on your strategy as well. On the way going down, might be worth it. Actually, it will be worth it to stay variable open because then you can renovate the property. If you find a derelict property, renovate the property, increase the value. When you've increased the value, get a home appraiser to come reappraise your property at a higher valuation. Now that you have that higher valuation, refinance your house again or that property, whatever it is, you just now created that loan. You can take that loan and go and do it again, open another business, get a partner, and do the same thing. You rinse and repeat. All right, you rinse and repeat. So we're going to keep ours variable. I like to do my amortization periods for 30 years. The longer, the better. I know it sounds weird. A lot of people say, pay your property off, pay the house off, pay the house off, pay your personal house off. But this, I like to keep mine long. The longer it is, the more time you have to pay, which puts more cash flow into your pocket. You're not going to hear this stuff anywhere else, all right? You will not. So that puts more cash flow into your pocket, and I will prove it to you right now. 30 years on that, I'll pay $1,000 a month. If I was to shorten that and say 25 years, I'm now paying $1,100 a month. If I do go 20 years, I'm now paying $1,300 a month. 10 years, you're paying more. So you're paying the house off fast for sure, which is great. But in the first 5 years, my strategy, because it's periodic strategy, my strategy is not to pay the house off fast. It's to elongate as long as I can to put more cash flow into my pocket. I keep that into my bank account, not my bank account. You are a business owner now. This real estate is your business, so open up a separate bank account under your corporation entity, not under your person. This now separates you from your business. You're now known as your persons, and this is your corporation or your business entity here. This is Mr. Man's business, Mr. Man's real estate business. And if I buy another property, Mr. Man's business number 2. Another property, Mr. Man's business number 3. All right, it's not all under the same thing. One per. So I'm going to go back to 30 years. All right. So total number of payments, 360 payments. This is paid, amortized over 12 months here. I pay for that, sorry. Here's the actual interest rate of what I will pay over the life of this loan. It's a lot of flipping money. So, the reason I do 5 years, before I have a 30 years stretched out for 5 years, because I want more cash flow, which means I put more cash into my bank account. It can sit in my bank account, or you can take that investment, that money you've earned, and invest into something else. Have your money make you money. That being said, as the tenant in the property pays down your property, after maturity, after the 5-year term of maturity now, and you're onto the 5 to 10 year maturity, at that point, change up your strategy. My strategy at that point is to aggressively pay this property down. Now, you should have money sitting in that bank account or making you more money somewhere else. Take a lump sum and pay that loan off of that property as fast as you can now. Throw money at it as fast as you can, because the closer you get to owing less and less and less in the house, you owe less and less and less interest, which means the more money you throw on it goes towards the principal, which decreases the amount you owe on that property. It's all strategy, all right? All strategy. So, that being said, the attorney typically will cost about $1,100 to $1,500 depending on where you live. I'm not sure, it's geared to that. I like to purchase in Ontario, and this here, changing Ontario, affects the land transfer tax. All right, this is based off of the value of the property itself. Nova Scotia, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Prince Edward Island. If I go to Alberta, Alberta doesn't have property tax. They have a land registration and mortgage registration itself. So I'm going to go into Ontario because I'm evaluating this property. I only owe $250. $275. If the property is under a certain price, that's what you pay, $275 in Ontario. So, home appraisal might cost you $1,100, $1,000. Up here where I live, it's been about $983 on average, or at least that's the last value I paid for my fourplex. So I put that there. Actually, you know what? I might put $500 because it's a single family condo. Okay. Home inspection. Was there a discount? The home inspector didn't give you a discount. Okay. So we'll remove that. Okay. We'll remove that. The title search costs us $300. That's where the lawyer talks to the land register itself. If you have a lawyer, they will talk to the land register. If you do this without a lawyer, you'll be the one who have to talk to the land registry individuals and pay that fund directly from your pocket at that point, or from the business's pocket at that point. I like to go through my lawyer and they do all the legwork for me. Build a team of people and keep utilizing these teams. If they don't work for you, cut people out and shift accordingly. Be flexible is the main thing. So here's my total closing cost here, $2,500 from this, all of this here, $2,500 my closing cost now. So for this, I would budget $3,000 as my closing cost. And the reason I budget $3,000 because I want a buffer. I want to know I'm safe, because these numbers will never be exact. You get them as close as you can possibly make them. With real estate, it's dynamic. This is going to be as close as you can possibly get with everything. This will be exact. This section here will be exact. This will be exact. So down payment, this is my down payment, $51,000. All right, so the down payment equals the down payment plus the closing costs, which is right here, minus the deposit. So here's the down payment plus the closing cost minus the deposit that you put down there. All right. So, are there renovations needed for this property? Yes or no? Plan for that. I have another sheet down here too that goes through renovations and helps you break down your renovation, and then spits out a total value for your renovations. That being said, if you have renovations, yes. If you have renovations, don't have renovations, no. And it removes that price there, or that total cost there, and then gives you what the down payment plus repair costs are if you have repair costs. I like to keep a running float in my business's bank account, starting value of $5,000. Reason being, you never know what you're going to need immediately. You know, a new hot water tank, a new furnace, some flooring, whatever the case may be. You have that buffer there. And this serves dual purpose. Most bank accounts, if you hold under a certain amount or value, you have to pay a bank fee. You pay them to hold your bank account. You know, go figure. So, if you hold over a certain amount, you don't pay them anything at that point for that bank account, because they're going to invest your money. But that's besides the point, because now you're cutting out that monthly expense for that bank account. That's stupid. You're reducing that by whatever that is now for the bank account. Next section is utilities here. This is either to costing out to the landlord or to the tenant. All right. Hydro. We don't know what the hydro is, so I would call Irina Ulanova. And hey, what's the hydro in that area? What's the average price of hydro in that area? Can you tell me? Am I able to speak to the current owner right now? And can I get a bill of what they paid for this? You know, what they pay monthly for their utilities, and then you can just break it down and put it in there. You can use the actual numbers. Get all these things. The more you demystify it, the better. The more you know almost precisely what you're paying, the better. So, electricity, am I paying for it for that tenant? Okay, I might pay for it for that tenant. Take it from yes, includes in my calculation, you saw it go there, and take it off the tenant and put it onto the landlord. The reason you take it off the tenant, because if you keep it on the tenant, it goes over to this section. This is where I rate my rent to income ratio for the tenant. I rate my tenants. Whatever I click on that other previous section under the tenant goes to the tenant over here under utilities, right here under utilities, and then begins to populate right here how much that tenant is going to have to pay in utilities, how much rent is, what the mobile cost is, what their cable is, everything. It breaks it down. All you gotta do is fill out this and then choose where it's going. So no, for that we'll say electricity, we'll say $2,500 for the year. All right, so it'll cost me $208. I'm not paying that. I want the tenant to pay it because they might walk around, leave every single light on in their house. I'm not paying that shit. They can pay it. That's no, I don't want it in my calculations right there. And then that goes over to the tenant. Okay. You'll see there, it's gone up now because that's now included in their monthly amount. And the reason you want that, because you're eventually going to issue out an application to these individuals and vet them. You want to know who can, you're going to have, I use Google Forms and I created my application where prospective people can utilize that Google form and fill out my application, and I get that application and I can go through the application now. I want to know if they meet specific criteria, especially how much they make. I want to know if they meet that criteria. And then I could put their income in there, and it can tell me if they are a good fit for my property or not, just based off of their income alone. Okay? Same thing for property tax. What is property tax? We go back to the listing again now. Annual property tax. Annual. It's $240. Alright? That's awesome. Although I wouldn't want to pay that still. So $20 a month essentially. That's not bad. But I wouldn't want that for a condo still too, because now you're paying that property tax for the building itself where many people live in. But yes, that's in my cost or your cost. It's your property. It's the property tax. You at that low valuation, you could always roll that into the tenants and have them pay that too. That's on a need-to-know basis. Home insurance over here. As we scroll down, I have a best of 5 right here. And I have, best of 4, and I have it averaged out. Because I don't just want to call up one insurance and say, okay, cool, I'll take that. I want to call about 4 or 5 of them and put all the numbers in there. And then it'll give me the average amount there. From the average amount, where are we at? Oh, I think I have this hard coded in here, or hard numbered in here. Yeah, this is the, so it should essentially spit out the average amount there automatically based off of the insurance companies you called. Oil delivery, there's no oil here. So no, if you have it on yes, it'll show up there, a month. Have it on no, I don't want it in my calculations. And I'm not putting it on the tenant. I don't want it to show in the tenant's evaluation. So I'll keep it on the landlord. The landlord means no, essentially, in this condition here. Natural gas. Is there natural gas at this point? Let's just see what this property runs off of. Security, let them property. There's the room size. Monthly fees. Ooh. $625. Okay. I'm going to assume it's electric. Amenities, heating, water, underground parking, this condo, steps from the GO station, custom-made kitchen cabinets. Yeah, heating, of course it includes heating. Oh, heating is in the cost. Okay. Okay. So, we can include heating in this. Heating is in the cost already. So, yeah, we don't have to include heating in there at all. That's included in the price of that property. So we'll keep that off. These white ones here, water. Yep, we got to get water still. I would call up, what's her name again? Irina. I'd call up Irina and I'd ask her what the average water price is, and she would tell me $1,500. Cool. You can put that on yours, or you can say, nope, I wanted to go to tenant because the tenant is utilizing that water. Not me, the tenant. All right. Is there a pool? No. Yes. If there's maintenance, fill in what you want here. Is there a tennis court you want to rent out? Etc., etc. Here's your total utilities for the month. And then here's extras now. Cable, is there a cable? No, no cable. I want it on the landlord because I don't want to push on the tenant. This excludes it from the calculation, and the landlord makes it null and void from the tenant. Is there internet? Yeah, I'll include the internet here in my expense here. Yes, I want that expense, and yes, I want it on the landlord. It'll cost about $1,100 a month. $1,100 for the year. That's what it costs for the month. Netflix, I'll include Netflix as well. Yes, and landlord as well. And here's the total per month as well. So, to hold this property per month, why is that not right? Oh, I get it. I get it. I don't want that loan amount in there. Okay. So I moved that loan amount. Here we go. That makes sense. Sorry for the hiccup. So to hold this property on a monthly basis, it'll cost us $1,400. That loan amount, just to show you guys to clarify things here. If I had taken a loan for, where is it? What's the payment price of this house? The down payment of say $48,000, and I took out $50,000 because I didn't have the money myself. I borrowed $50,000 from a friend or a family member. Utilize your circle, okay? And let's say they wanted 5% on their money, and amortization period is, I don't know, they're like, okay, cool, you can pay back in 5 years. I'll pay weekly. This is what you're paying. If you took this loan up from the bank, that's what you're paying, $217 a month. And you pay that back in 5 years, okay? So, back down here, it's now $1,461 we're paying monthly to hold this entire property. So, it's only a single condo. If you want to use it as an entire house, you could do that. If you want to do Airbnb, you can do that. If you want to do a per room, you could do that. We're going to do a regular rental, the entire house. So, to rent this house out, I would speak to the realtor again, Irina, and ask her what the average rent is. She might say $1,600 a month in that area. So I can put it in there. And I know at this point I'm only making $138 a month. Terrible, but cash flow is cash flow. I wouldn't want this because it's a single family home and it has condo fees of $625, which we didn't include here. We didn't include in here yet. We include that in this breakdown here. That's the pro forma. And we are not getting into that today. This is extensive. That's a lesson on its own. But here's where you begin to play with the numbers and find what works. And then I call other realtors in the area and say, hey, what's the average rent? Hey, realtor number 3, what's the average rent? Hey, realtor number 4, what's the average rent for this type of house? And you get the average of these things. That way you're not just talking to one person and assume you have all your answers. You get an average. Make sure you do your due diligence and speak to these people. So now, your net income would be, after expenses, about $338. Less a 5% vacancy. What a vacancy means is, it's a hypothetical. At 5% loss, if there was a vacancy in that property, what it would look like. So your average would be between $338 to $321 a month. That's not bad for a single family home. I prefer larger homes, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, multi-family homes. Because if one person isn't in a single family home, you lose 100% of your income. If one person or family is not in a duplex, you lose 50%. 3 people, you lose a quarter. So on and a quarter? 1/3. A fourplex, you lose a quarter, and so on and so forth. You can see the amount you lose beginning to decrease. All right. So that is my breakdown for you guys. I hope you found value in this. I will see you guys on the next one.
Making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.